Good morning, everyone. This is Ieva Indriunaite from Camco, reporting for ESI Africa from COP27. Yesterday, we had a gender-focused day at the COP, and I wanted to take some time to shine light on some of the important issues of gender and energy, the intersection between gender and energy, and why it is important to really mainstream gender proactively in the energy sector. So with me, I'm delighted to have Mary Maalu, the General Manager of Corporate Affairs at KenGen in Kenya. So Mary, perhaps you could start by introducing us to your work and day-to-day job, and where does gender come in?
Yeah, thank you so much. So I'm Mary Maalu. As you've heard, I'm the Corporate Affairs General Manager, KenGen. And my day-to-day job involves negotiating power purchase agreements between my company and the electricity off-taker. I'm also in charge of environment and climate change matters and the overall subject of sustainability in my company. I take care of communication and public affairs, community relations, business improvement processes, safety and quality, and that kind of forms my day-to-day job. Yeah, however, I'm also charged with the responsibility of championing gender mainstreaming in the company, not as a full-time job or my core mandate, but to support the human resource department to catalyze and accelerate gender mainstreaming in the company. And this came as a result of the realization that the company was lagging behind in gender matters. Women were not only fewer in terms of numbers in the company, ranging between below 20%, in fact around 12% about 5 years, but they were also occupying the low-level jobs, secretaries, tea girls, generally the support sections of the organizations. They were not in the technical areas. They were not, in terms of seniority, they were also occupying the low-level grades, not the higher grades. So it was upon that realization that the company formed an initiative which we call Pink Energy Initiative. Pink to denote women, because pink is associated with women and in the energy sector. So this Pink Energy Initiative, it is not a department, it's just a forum for women to talk about the issues in their company. And the main objectives of that Pink Initiative was, one, to create awareness within the company that women and men are equal. There's no one gender that is superior than the other. Create that awareness. And this is because KenGen is heavily engineering in terms of expertise. Most people are engineers. And therefore, the kind of because we also operate in a continent and in a country where women tend to shy from science and engineering subjects, they tend to take the softer subjects in their school education. So naturally, you find the engineers are men, and therefore, because of that, the women were feeling intimidated. They were not confident. They would not even apply for jobs or for promotions. When they applied, they failed. So there was all this realization that something needed to be done. So one was to create the awareness that there should be balance. Secondly, then, was to empower them, empower the women through, and we organize a lot of motivational talks. Talk to the women, tell them you're up to it.
That is women within KenGen,
women,
right?
women within
your colleagues
KenGen.
Working with you.
Yeah, within the company, is to talk to them and tell them, guys, you're equal. You can take these jobs. Yeah, you can upskill. You don't have to be shy, be confident. So just building the confidence and bring motivational speakers, other women who are successful, to just talk to them and show them you can do it. Yes, so we do that.
And is KenGen supporting? Yeah. You mentioned upskilling other programs to help women advance as well within.
Yes, we do. We actually, there's it's a requirement that in any training, you must balance the gender. If you're sending 10 people for training, it should be balanced, not just men only, not women only. They should be balanced. If you're forming any committees, you should balance the nominations. If it's an interviews, the panel must be balanced, because then women would appear, for example, in an all-male panel, and immediately they feel like they cannot pass the interview. So there are initiatives like those. Interview panels must also be balanced so that people feel confident. And then the third core area we're looking at is making the environment conducive for women to thrive. For example, with electricity, there's field work. People go to work in the field where facilities are not available. Like initially, there were not even washrooms for men and women. They were sharing, and women, you can imagine, even when they don't feel comfortable sharing washrooms with men. And therefore, one thing we made is that even in the field, in the forests, where they are drilling and exploring resources, there are facilities for men and women. And the other thing that we saw is that when women got to the age of getting children, they would leave the engineering fields and they apply for jobs in the offices, and they leave the engineering work. So because they want to live near where there are schools, they want to live near the husbands to take care of the children. So we're also making supporting schools within near our power plants, so that we can retain the women there. They can get hospitals, so we support hospitals near our installations. We support schools, so that then our staff do not have to migrate away when they start getting children.
So is this part of I guess this is already institutionalized as a KenGen? Is it sort of a corporate policy or an action plan, I guess, that's now being implemented?
It's a corporate policy, because first of all, we are informed by the government. The government requires that each institution should have gender balance. No one gender should be more than a third, whether male or female, in terms of numbers. And even in terms of seniority, if it is like the executive or the board, one gender should not be a third, less than a third. So we are striving to achieve that. Like currently, we have risen from the levels of 12 where we were around 5 years ago. We are about 25% of the workforce is women, which means we still have a 5% to reach the 1/3 gender rule, which is a government requirement.
Okay. So the policy was that put in place about 5 years ago? And you're already seeing some impact?
2006 to be precise,
Okay.
November to 2016, November 2016. Yeah, so that is when this action, Pink Energy, was in. The policy was there earlier, but was not yielding results. So there needed to be a catalyst kind of movement to help fasten the speed.
And now you've seen
we've seen results. We have seen significant results. We did a study recently, like 2 years ago, by KPMG, if you know them, the auditors, and they showed that women confidence level had moved up significantly. There were more women taking up leadership positions. There are more women who are upskilling and even taking initiative to study, because they've seen if they upskill, then they get a chance to be appointed to higher positions. Previously, it was, we know the men will take the job, and then I just recline to that position that they cannot get higher leadership position. For the last 6 years, the company has been led by a female CEO, who was the patron, holding the position I hold today as patron of Pink Energy. She was the founding patron and later became the CEO, and that even gave women more impetus to see.
And
that
do you think
possible.
It was also this women at the leadership that also then took the issue seriously, and in addition to just having a policy, they in fact put this program in place and made sure that it's resourced? And
she became CEO after program was already in place. But
she was one of the founders.
She was one of the founders. She was actually the founder. But her ascending to the CEO position gave more energy and more belief that it is possible to succeed even as a woman. So in short, creating the awareness, I think that when we have created across the company, everybody knows about balance. We have to, and we are not only looking at gender balance, we also look at other areas like youth, to ensure youth are included, disability mainstreaming. So the gender is just one of the initiatives which I lead, but I know the other sections of the company that are dealing with the other diversity, youth and disability mainstreaming. So awareness we have created, we have made environment conducive, because we also realized women were, because the nature in the country, we live far from where the office is far from where we reside in most of the cases. So you find women who are suffering when they get children, they don't know, they can't rush home to breastfeed. So the company has provided and constructed areas where women can express their milk. There are refrigerators, refrigerate the milk and take it with them in the evening. We haven't risen to the point where they can carry the babies to the office, but we call them mother's den, where it's a room secluded for women who have young children. They can go in a very safe and clean environment, express their milk, store it in a refrigerated facility, and in the evening they take it to their children. So that way they don't suffer from having excess milk in the breast, and then they know then their children will have that milk.
They don't have to compromise. Basically.
They don't have to compromise, and then they also physically they don't feel uncomfortable that the milk is spilling and in the office. Yeah, so there are a few things like those that the company has done to make the work environment very conducive. And then the last is what I said about now building the capacity of the women. So we keep encouraging them. Those who have low qualifications, tell them please go back to school, upskill, take up courses. When jobs come up, apply for them, don't shy, and prepare so that you can compete equally with the men for the positions. And we have seen results from 2016 to now. I'm very happy, and I'm positive that by the next 5 years we should hit the 30%, which is the requirement. At least the female gender should have reached the 30%. At the executive level, we're already balanced. At least out of 10, we are 3 women, so just about there. Yeah.
And would you say, so of course the harder to measure is whether having a more balanced institution has helped you perform better as KenGen? Have you tried to monitor any of those kinds of impacts?
Okay, it's interesting you asked that question. We haven't. I wouldn't,
because we often have this. We often have this notion or this fight back from some people saying that you're trying to put quotas, sort of artificially in place. Why are you doing this? But at the same time, we know that, especially in the energy sector, now we're talking at the corporate level, but there are many issues, of course, with, in the electrification space, projects that are being developed to make sure that women are part of the design and implementation. And that just makes sense. That makes sense from, even the commercial sense for project developers, etc. So I think, it's kind of, the question stems from there. I don't know if you've looked at it at all.
Yeah, it's interesting you asked that question, because it's one of the things we are thinking about is the measurement. We haven't gotten to the level of measuring, but definitely it follows without saying that if you are carrying everybody on board, because previously if the women, and a study was done and it showed clearly, in fact the first study was done by McKinsey, and that is the one that showed that women were not confident, they were disengaged from the company, they would report to work, but they are not enthusiastic about their work because they felt like they are looked down upon. And that is what informed the creation of the pink energy. It was from a study done by McKinsey. Later we did one it was an employee satisfaction survey by KPMG, which showed the percentages had improved in terms of engagement, job satisfaction, confidence levels. It had changed. The women now were on board and felt encouraged to do their work. The only thing, so just from that analysis, then it shows we have now more, the women are engaged, so the whole workforce is engaged, is confident, is doing what they are doing at their best. So the only thing we have not done is the measurement in terms of quantifying profitability, productivity, and all that. But just by that analysis, if you have the whole workforce engaged, definitely, I expect if the results are measured, they will show clearly that we are performing better than before. And the company it's a government entity, and it's profitable. Not that it wasn't profitable before. I may not say the profitability is coming out of the engagement, but sustaining that high level of productivity, definitely this engagement of all staff must be contributing.
And the productive working environment.
working environment. Yeah.
Perfect, Mary. Thank you
Yeah.
so much for sharing
Yes.
KenGen's story.
Yes.
I think it's incredible to see that you not only put a policy in place, but you actually meant it and went forward with the implementation, and it's yielding significant results.
Yes.
So it was really interesting to speak to you with Mary Maalu from KenGen, and thanks for watching.